All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Around the Bases, Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzo, joined by the stat guy, Dustin Reeves. How's it going this morning, Dustin?
Good, Chris. Getting ready for them Bulls to whip up on your Pacers tonight.
Pacers been struggling here with without Halliburton. It's a little hard to get out there. But yeah, him being out for the last week and a half, couple weeks, they've not been playing real well. Still right there by the plane. What is going on here?
What was that?
Having trouble with my internet or something.
Oh,
All right. Oh, look at that. Jay McLovin decides to make his presence. What's going on, Jay?
I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you, bro.
No. Hey, it's not your fault. I had a lot to eat last night, and so the toilet almost overflowed on me, so I had to call the plumber. So a lot of things were happening. I apologize for being late, but I am here.
Jay, that's why they tell you not to shave over the toilet.
Oh, I don't shave over the toilet. But Melanie makes some really, or let's just say, some very filling food. You know what I'm saying?
And then I'll tell you what, and then plumbers can be expensive.
Yeah, they can. But not as nearly as extensive as a proctologist that has to re-examine your you-know-what, because the food that came out of your you-know-what was a little bit larger than the circumference of the you-know-what. So I'm just saying proctologists can be just as expensive. I'm just saying.
That's true.
I don't recommend it. So what are we talking about? I know we were talking about today. We're talking about awards today, right? We're talking about baseball awards that we were predicting for this year coming up, right?
Yes.
So where are we at?
We're just starting, Jay. You just hopped in like 30 seconds after we started. We haven't even started yet.
Good, that I'm right on time.
we were actually talking about the Bulls and the Pacers going to play tonight. That's what we started with.
The Bulls and the Pacers. Well, you know what? I'm not really liking the Bulls too much this year. I think the Pacers looking pretty good. I am kind of curious to see Miles Turner, if they do decide to trade Miles Turner eventually, or if that's going to happen. Do you think it's going to come to fruition with Turner being traded?
I don't know. I hope they sign him. He's can give him sign him to an extension. He's playing real well this year with this young core around him.
Right.
He's looked good.
Right. Because it seems like you guys are building some chemistry over there in Indiana, and I just don't know why you'd want to trade out of that chemistry when you guys are in the playoffs right now, or at least in the top 8.
Yeah,
like I don't know why you'd want to miss the chemistry like that.
But no. I wouldn't. Right now, Halliburton being out is hurting us right now. He's been out for about a week and a half, and could be out a little bit longer. But stat guy, where you want to start? Or where do you want to start with?
We can start with the manager of the year in both the National and American.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. You know what? Hey, I can't predict it yet, but I will tell you guys. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I know for a fact the Rangers have been in damn near last place for as long as I can remember. I mean, they've had a semi-Quasimodo team over there. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. A couple of years of, looking pretty decent. They had Showalter over there. They had Washington over there. A couple of other head coaches over there. Never really done too much with the Rangers. Made them moderately competitive, but nothing serious. I'm really interested to see now that they brought in all this starting pitching over to Texas now. And then they got Bochy as their coach. We all know what Bochy did in San Francisco. So based on those reasons alone, I think Bochy, man, going from where last place, where Texas is, if they get anywhere near second place, tell them. Maybe even challenge the Astros for the division. How would you not give Bochy that type of credit?
And honestly, Jay, I'm on the same page as you, because I was actually going to say Bruce Bochy as
Bochy, whatever.
Manager of the year also, just because I think with Jacob deGrom going there, with the pitching that they added this year, with a lot of the offense that they still have coming back, right. I think Texas can be this year's version of what Seattle was last year, where they basically come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think they could be better. With that
Well,
pitching
I do too. But I'm just saying in terms of like Seattle being a bottom feeder for ever, and then all of a sudden last year Seattle wins 94 games. I think Texas can take that same route where they've been kind of in that 4th or 5th place range for the last 5 years. They're going to win 90 games if their pitching holds up.
Yeah, I think they win 90, and I think they have a legit. We're gonna have to wait and see how the offense, competes or what's the word I'm trying to think of? How they, compare with the pitching. If that offense can match the pitching, jeez Louise, man, that could be a very, very dangerous team. And I got to be honest with you, there's a lot of teams out there that have really made tremendous strides. Obviously, the Mets are probably the biggest one. I gotta tell you, man, Gonzo, I don't know how you feel about it, man, but if Bocce, does turn around this Texas organization and he does get them going in the right direction towards the playoffs, and then you get a manager, out there with the Mets. Matter of fact, I think it is Showalter. Am I correct?
Showalter, yeah.
So Showalter, doesn't get to the World Series. I mean, do we put him down as the worst manager? I mean, with that lineup?
Not necessarily, because you have to look at how deep the National League is now. It used to be the Dodgers and pretty much everybody else, and now it's legitimately, you could argue that 5 or 6 teams in the National League legitimately have a shot to win 100 games this year.
And that Mets team was rolling pretty good last year until some injuries to their pitching staff and stuff kind of got them out of their rhythm, and they never got back on track.
I just feel like barring injuries, I feel like Showalter, it's almost like the Mets have put Showalter in a no-win situation. I feel like with $400 million and your payroll and $800 million towards these guys, this luxury tax, all this money and all these guys they're bringing in, it's like if you don't get a World Series, how do we look at Showalter? I got to be honest with you. Look, bro, you've been given every freaking tool known to man, and you still can't win a damn World Series? What the fuck? I mean, I'm just saying, are we not looking at it like that? If I'm Steve Cohen, and I just spent every damn dime under the sun, and I give you everything you want, and you don't give me a World Series title, I'm looking at you as a failure.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. We've seen. You just see sometimes we've seen teams try to buy championships. Most talented teams those don't always win. But it does. You do have to get that right manager as well. But no, I agree with you guys. I like Bochy. I think that's a good choice in the American League. I also think Francona could be up for it in the American League this year too, because I think that Cleveland Guardians team is going to keep.
I do like Francona. I do like Francona.
They were one of the youngest teams last year, and they were starting to go. So I think they still might be a year away, but I think he could be known that if he can get that team going. Maybe he could be in that maybe a manager of the year race.
No, absolutely, especially Guardians. That's American. I feel like the only thing that would hurt Francona would be Bochy. Just because I feel like for the Rangers to get into the playoffs, coming out of dead last place last year. I mean, yeah, they did put in free agents in there, so let's not overlook that. But man, that's a long way to come from the basement to the at least almost to the penthouse.
Yeah, no, if they make the Rangers make the playoffs, it's going to be hard for anybody in the AL to beat Bochy for.
And you also have to look at the division that Texas comes from too, as opposed to the division that Francona comes from. Texas has a lot more teams to hurdle in the AL West with like Seattle, with Houston, Anaheim. I believe is going to be better this year with some of the additions they made versus Cleveland. If the Chicago White Sox stay healthy, yes, the White Sox are a decent team.
By the way, it's that guy. You're out of date. It's not Anaheim Angels anymore. It's
Los Angeles. It's the Los Angeles Angels.
Well, no, let's get it right, because that's two completely different graphics, and we won't be pissing people off on this show, that guy.
But either way,
Seattle's got to look forward to here.
Seattle's got 4 teams, or Texas realistically has 3 teams that they have to compete with pretty much to win that division. Cleveland's got 1. Maybe 2 if the Twins hold up, and even at that, you look at how bad that division was last year. Cleveland can win that division with 88 wins. If Texas doesn't win 90 games, they're not going to make the playoffs, let alone win that division.
off topic, just in reference to what Frankie Cruz is talking about. I didn't catch that, but I'm assuming, is he talking about the Bill O'Brien?
And I was joking with Chris before the show started. I was the one that was praising Bill O'Brien as a coach and as a coordinator yesterday, and look what happens the next day. Belichick brings him back.
I kind of thought he would. I mean, he does have ties to Belichick. So
he's also got ties to Mac Jones from Alabama.
Well, that's true. I mean, he has a lot of ties to a lot of things, so it almost makes sense to bring a guy like that in. Like you said, like you said, Shaq, I think it was you that said it. He was a terrible GM, but
he was a terrible GM. He wasn't that, like, a 548 winning percentage doesn't seem like that great of a winning percentage. But if you put that up against the NFL head coaches right now, that's a top 10 winning percentage in the NFL. So the guy knew how to be a head coach. The guy knew how to be a coordinator. It was just when he got too much control is when he failed.
Yeah, that control will kick you in the butt sometimes, man. It keeps you from being objective.
Yeah, it can. Where everyone go next?
We can do NL Manager of the Year.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, man.
I think this is realistically a two man race. Realistically,
who's your two man?
I think Bob Melvin in San Diego. If San Diego can finally overtake the Dodgers this year and win that division. And then you have to look at Rob Thompson in Philadelphia for what he did the second half of the year last year after taking over for Joe Girardi, if he can do that for an entire season.
I would give him manager of last year because of, like you said, just for those reasons. This year's a little bit different. He's already been there. Okay. We saw what you did. You got to the World Series, great. But can you get beyond that? That's where I think for him to get, man, I just think he has too talented of a team right now.
They got to remember the awards are regular season awards.
Like, if you look at last year, what he had to overcome last year, that made an excellent case for him getting it. This year, it's like, okay, you've been to the World Series, you improved you brought in Trey Turner, you improved some of your bullpen pitching, you've improved your team a little bit from what you had last year, so we expect a little bit more out of you. It's kind of like the expectations already there.
But the awards are always regular season awards, though. And
I get that. I get that. But it's not like he's coming. It's not like you're taking a team last year from last place and putting them. I think the Cubs. I'm looking at the Cubs right now. Given where the Cubs were and some of the additions that the Cubs have made this year, I think the Cubs, if they get into the playoffs, just get into the playoffs. I would have to give it, and I forget that dude's name, but I would have
David Ross.
I don't know them dudes.
David Ross.
He was a great player.
But I would give it. If that's him, then I would give it David Ross. That's who I would give it to the Cubs.
I don't know if he was great, but he was a good player.
But I just feel like what he has to do with that team, if he could get them into the playoffs, I think even Mike Hughes would agree. That's got to be manager of the year, or at least damn near close to it. Even more so even than the Padres, because the Padres have an excellent line. And we saw what the Padres did. They were in the playoffs last year. I think for the Cubs to be out of the playoffs, into the playoffs, how do you not give that as manager of the year for the National League side of things?
Yeah,
and I'd be fine with that.
And I hate the Cubs.
What about I kind of think maybe could that Phillies coach still be manager? Thompson be in the running? I know he had him in the World Series last year.
He can still be in the running because he was only manager for 84 games last year.
He went a full season, so. I think
last year would have been Thompson's year to get that award, but just based on what he did was incredible.
But what if this year in his first full season he gets him back to a World Series?
I don't know. They made improvements upon that team last year, though. I just think there's not enough gap of improvement that team needs to go through to make him a manager of the year. Not nearly as much as what Chicago's got to go through. Chicago's got to go through a chemistry. They got to go through.
I agree.
There's a lot of things.
I agree. If they made the World Series and Chicago made the playoffs, I would favor Chicago. But if you don't have a story like that, I think he could maybe sneak in there. If you don't have a story of a team that wasn't very good last year that makes a good run.
I think I would, in my opinion, and again, you take my opinion down to Walmart, you might get maybe a little ho-ho or something, but I feel like in order for Thompson to get manager of the year, he would have to win the World Series, in my opinion. He'd have to do better than what he did last year. And if he can win the World Series, given what they had the year previously, then yeah, I get that. That storyline would warrant it, right?
No, I agree.
But I think he
World
got to the World Series last year, so it's almost like, okay, you were there. Now what are you going to do? We've improved.
I said if he won the World Series.
Yeah, you damn right you said it. Say it with your chest next time.
Hey, I'm old, man. I can't hear half that shit. I can barely hear what that guy's saying over there. What's the next award? What do we got, man?
You need me to turn my mic up a little bit louder?
We can go Cy Young.
My wife. Can you turn that mic up a little bit loud? I can't hear your ass.
We can go Cy Young.
Oh, jeez, man, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be. Oh my God, that's gonna be a good one. Cy Young, jeez, Louise. I don't know what you guys are thinking, and I know I might sound biased here, but I got every reason to believe there's no reason that either Framber Valdez or Javier can't get that.
I have a bit of a wild card. I'm going with Carlos Rodon.
You think he does it out there with New York?
You look at the numbers that he's put up the last couple of years, and they've been great numbers. You can't deny that. But he's never been with an offense that he has now in New York. You give that guy an offense like he has in New York, plus the pitching that he's had the last 3 years, he could be a 20 to 23 game winner.
You do know that Javier and Framber both had lower ERAs than him, and they had good offense. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know that. Okay. But I'm just saying.
The only reason they didn't get that is because a guy named Verlander was there, and he had a little bit lower ERA.
I think Rodon's won 52 games like the last 3 years, which was basically 17 wins a year. His ERA's been in the 2.9s, and that's been with a terrible offense in San Francisco, a terrible offense with the White Sox the year before that. And I think he was with another team that had a terrible offense. You finally give that guy an offense that can give you 5 or 6 runs of support. He's going to win a lot more games consistently with the Yankees.
I just don't see that. I hear where you're coming from, but look, no disrespect to Carlos Rodon, because I think that's a hell of a good pick. Like I said, you made a good point. Last 2 years, his ERA has been around the 2 range, mid 2 range, and then before that, he was in the 3, 4, 5 ERAs. I look at people. I look at like let's take Javier for example. Just take him last year for example. The guy was part of 2 no-hitters for crying out loud. 2 damn no-hitters. I mean, what more does Javier need to do to get the damn thing? Why is he not ever mentioned in that conversation? Why is Framber Valdez not mentioned in these conversations?
Yeah, the problem with
guys that have had below 3 ERAs for 2-3 plus years.
I would have Javier in the conversation, but I'm gonna go with DeGrom.
Yeah, I was gonna say
DeGrom's gonna stay healthy. I think DeGrom's gonna stay healthy this year, and I think he's gonna have a real good year there in Texas.
And I buy into that because of the fact that DeGrom's going to have to pitch his ass off to make sure that, because I don't know how anemic or how potent that Texas Rangers offense is going to be. So for him to win games, he's going to have masterful games. And again, sometimes what we don't talk about too is the fact that the only thing that hurts Texas a little bit too, they upgraded all their starting pitching, but what do they really do with their relief pitching? So the relief pitching, can that relief pitching pick up where DeGrom leaves off and continue with the win? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with that. Hey, I tell you right now, if DeGrom comes out and gets a shit ton of wins and stays healthy, I mean, I could see DeGrom being a Cy Young candidate easily, because he's got a lot of work to do over there.
Yeah. Well, what do you think on the NL side?
I like either Justin Verlander or Spencer Strider.
I do like Strider. Jeez Louise, that guy is scary, man. Damn. The last time I seen a pitcher come out and look that scary was Mark Pryor with the Cubs back in the day. Remember how vicious Mark Pryor was? Damn.
You couldn't hit him.
No, you couldn't hit his ass. That dude was freaking vicious. But yeah, man, Strider, he's a guy that reminds me of that. He could be just as vicious, especially with that damn mustache. I don't know what it is about mustaches, but him and Cortez, damn. I don't know if it's the follicles, but what the hell is up with that mustache?
It's the power of the stash.
Bro, hey, listen, we laugh about it, but there is some damn power in that stash. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I like Strider. Oh, God. What would we do if Verlander got another damn Cy Young? What if he got back-to-back Cy Youngs? I'm coming off Tommy John at 39, damn near 40. Like
I
that's almost,
I
that's
think
me
him and
almost
DeGrom.
thinking,
I think him and DeGrom have the best chance to do it just because they're going from one league to another league. These hitters these hitters maybe see Verlander once a year, maybe once every other year, depending on interleague play. It's going to take these hitters probably 3 or 4, if not 5 starts against Verlander just to adjust to him.
I like Verlander. No, I also would put Scherzer up in there because I think if he stays healthy, and with that Mets team, if he can stay healthy, if he's healthy and pitch to the level that he can when he's healthy, I think he could be right in there for the Cy Young as well.
I like what you're saying, and I like what that guy said about the Mets. The only thing about the Mets is, I understand part of the Cy Young is your ERA, part of the Cy Young is your WHIP and things like that, all those little measurable stats. But again, one of the biggest stats is your win-loss, and it just seems like with the amount of offensive power that Mets team has, it almost makes it easier for those guys to get. And it was easier even for Verlander with the Astros. We have a pretty good offensive output. So I almost think it kind of makes it easier for guys like that to get the Cy Young versus like the DeGrom with the Rangers, where he's really got to earn those wins. It's the only downside to that.
No, I can see what you're saying.
But God, Verlander, if he comes away with back-to-backs, that would be his third. Correct me if I'm wrong. That would be his third Cy Young, correct?
Maybe it's fourth. So I think he got one. He got one in Detroit, 2 in Houston, and then he would have the one with the Mets.
You know what the only crazy thing is? No matter what Verlander does, he'll still never hit 5,000 strikeouts. That's why Nolan Ryan is still the king. Shut your mouth.
Nolan Ryan. He always has to bring it back to Nolan Ryan.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. Anytime a Ventura could come off the home plate, charge him out, and Nolan Ryan could put his ass into a headlock and beat the shit out of him, you're damn right Nolan Ryan's the king. I remember watching that game. I will tell you right now, I remember watching that game. And when Nolan Ryan was taking care of business on the mound, I was like, this dude is just a beast. Just a beast.
Oh, he was.
God. And the thing about it is he didn't even have a pitching coach, a true pitching coach, when he was pitching with Seaver when he got his World Series ring in '69. He really didn't get a pitching coach until he hit the Angels, and that's when he really started to become an actual. Because he was a flamethrower. He was a flamethrower with the Mets, but then he became an actual pitcher when he joined the Angels. And then by the time he got to Houston, he had just perfected that craft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
What's the next award we got?
Comeback Player of the Year.
I tell you right now, I think Verlander should have got comeback player of the year last year, come off that Tommy John and get no Cy Young. But that is not this year. That's a good question. I'm gonna need to think on that one for a minute. What you got over there, Stat Guy? I know you probably got.
I got a name that you'll probably be happy with, and I think it's gonna just be because of the ballpark he's in this year.
Who's that?
Jose Abreu.
Oh yeah, coming from Chicago. Over
he had the worst numbers of his career last year, power wise. I think he had like 15 home runs and like 78 RBIs, which was the worst numbers that he's ever put up as a pro. And now you're going to Houston, which is a hitter's paradise with a short left field coach.
Yeah, and the fact they did away with the shift that obviously helps him too.
So I think Abreu is going to have a 30 homer, 110, 115 RBI season, hit close to 300.
Jesus, and you got bigger bases. Jeez Louise, what a time to be alive in the world. Yeah, I like that Abreu though. I do like that. I do like that.
What about maybe a guy like Mike Trout? With all the games he missed last year.
If he can stay healthy the whole damn year and put up a good, solid, productive year, yeah, that would be huge. That's another good one. Dang, I didn't think about Trout. That's a good one.
If he plays up to his ability, he'll be in there. He could be up there for the MVP as well. But if he can stay healthy,
I wonder if Bellinger can get back to the 300 average that he was averaging there for a while. Now that he's switched new spots,
that's who I have for the comeback player of the year in the NL.
Yeah, because that's how I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Bellinger for that reason. And then,
I can see
I'm
Bellinger.
still thinking about-
Just because they got rid of the shift, like you were saying, and that took a lot of hits away from Bellinger last year that he's going to get back.
Right. I put Bellinger. Who else would I? Now I got to think of the AL side. I got the NL side. I don't know the AL side. Damn.
I'm trying to think of somebody else on the NL side.
I was almost going to say Alex Bregman, too, just because Alex Bregman had a down year average-wise last year, and he only had like 21 homers last year, which is a down year for him.
Bregman did, man. Jeez, Bregman. You know what? You know what I'm going to put in there? You know what I'm going to put in there? I'm going to put Michael Brantley.
That's a good one.
Brantley. And the reason why I'm putting Michael Brantley in there is because he missed all of last year for the most part with that shoulder injury. If he comes back there this year, plays a solid season, which they're going to need a solid season for him to be able to relieve Alvarez in left field and put Alvarez back to the DH. Brantley's going to have he's got to be a huge part of that Astro. I think if Brantley plays a full season next year and plays it productively, that could help ensure another World Series ring for Houston. And I just say that because that's what Houston needs. Houston needs, number one, they lost a bat in who is it they lost? They lost – well, it looks like they might be losing Gurriel, possibly to the Marlins. They lost Mancini. They lost Vasquez. They lost a lot of players that they should have brought in, to help fortify that team, and they didn't do that. So they have to bring in – so Brantley has a productive season, gives them a productive – that next productive bat. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Michael Brantley. He's got to if he can play a full season and stay healthy, I'm gonna go Michael Brantley come back on the AL side of life.
Yeah, I think I like Brantley. That's a good one.
But I do like Trout, man. Jeez Louise, man. Trout, it just, I feel bad for Trout, man. That guy's just been hurt so many damn times. I think it's really robbed him of his true potential. You know what I mean? And it doesn't hurt the fact that he's on the freaking Angels. By the way, the Los Angeles Angels have, I guess the owner over there decided he's not going to sell now.
Oh, he's not going to sell now?
He's going to keep the team, and he's going to stay committed to them, trying to get them into, I guess, a World Series. Yeah. But, yeah, he's not leaving. He's gonna, and actually, it looks like that guy, Jacob, or whatever you want to say his name is, that owner from the Warriors was going to try to be one of the buyers of that team.
But wasn't that part of them wanting to sell? Was it something to do they couldn't get a deal to try to get a new baseball?
That's a good question. I didn't read that much into the article to find out all the specifics. I just saw it come across my thing, but I wouldn't be surprised because I know they were trying to move the Angels out there to was it the Angels or the A's that they were trying to move to Vegas?
A's, because their stadium's an absolute shithole. I'd rather play in a porta potty than play in that stadium.
Yeah, me too. Which is part of the reason why the A's, can't really put together, a fortified team is because probably nobody wants to play there, number one, and I don't think they pay all that well either.
No, their payroll is usually one of the cheapest in the.
What are they like around like just right at maybe 100, if not just a little under 100 million?
Well, they were at like 61 million last year. They might even be lower this year.
Yeah. 61 million. I mean, what's 61 million going to do against 300 something million? I mean, 400 million. I mean, I don't know what the A's are thinking, man. Are they just that cheap or they don't have the money or what's going on with the A's and why aren't they paying their players?
Because it's a small market.
Well, there's a lot of small market teams out there that'll still pay.
As of today, Oakland has the lowest payroll in baseball at $56 million.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
That's why I think there should be not a salary cap, but a
salary floor where you have to at least be at like 85, 90 million at least.
Yeah, you have to spend at least so much money.
Because if you look at, let's see here,
I think it helped make baseball better because you can get more competitive, and I don't know, you get more teams competitive, just like in the NFL this year.
Yeah, the bottom 8 teams in baseball this year have a payroll of $90 million or less. And of that, only the Cleveland Guardians and Tampa Bay were the only two teams that made the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think you have to spend Cohen type money to win a World Series. Clearly,
No,
you
you don't.
don't, because the Astros have done it with. I think they're like 164 million, 174 million, and they've won World Series with that. So, but I do think you have to, you do have to put some money into your team, or nobody's going to want to play for you.
Yeah.
And they'll say, "Oh, it's a small market." Okay, but if you spend 89 million, put a more competitive product out there, you're going to get more fans are going to come to the games. You're going to get more eyeballs on your team. You'll bring in more money as well.
Wow. Yeah, I just don't know how the A's are doing it. I don't know how. I mean, is there even any real A's fans? I never hear of an A's fan. I never hear that. I can only imagine that one guy, that Bob Uecker, that guy out there by the TP in Major League, that's saying like, "Yeah, this is my team."
I think I might know like a couple, but yeah, I don't. It's not. It's not.
There's a lot of A's fans out there, but they don't attend games because they don't even like to go to the stadium. Like a lot of the A's fans out there, obviously, are going to root for their team on TV and watch a lot of their games in bars and at home just because their stadium is an absolute shithole that nobody wants to go to.
Right.
You build that team a new stadium, even if they lose 100 to 110 games, they're still going to draw a much better crowd because at least it's going to be a fun venue to be at.
I've never been to the Oakland A's Coliseum, but I
don't want to be.
Have you been there? You've been there?
I have been there.
And you walked in and said, "What the hell?"
They've had sewage backups for the last 5 years in the bathrooms.
Oh, hell no. Yeah.
There's people there and there's players there that said they would rather piss their pants during a game than use the bathroom facilities at the stadium.
That's just going to tell you something. Like, what are they doing? God, what are they doing? I wouldn't want to play in that shit. I'd probably get out of there too. Damn. I'd come up through the minors in the A's system, but then as soon as I got into the contract to play somewhere else, I'd be out the door.
And then you have to look at the final 2 months of the season before the Raiders moved to Vegas. This thing, half the field was covered in football and half the field was covered in dirt. So you had all the outfield grass was all ripped up from the NFL preseason game, so players were stumbling, the balls were taking weird bounces left and right because of all the divots that were left in the outfield grass from the preseason games.
Right. I always said, man, football and baseball should not be on the same field. And that's specifically because of the reason you're mentioned in there. They just tear up football tears up the field. So I just don't know.
Unless it's turf, that's the only way you could get away with it.
Then you get these terrible organizations like the Astros that put a damn hill out in center field with a flagpole in play.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, no, we did. And the first time I saw that, I was like, why?
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that.
All it took was for Jim Edmonds to face plant off of it to remove it.
I mean, I'm okay with the other teams playing on that hill. I just didn't want my team to play on that damn hill.
I never understood why it was ever even made that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I think somebody had an idea. Hey, let me put a hill and let me put 3 flagpoles in this hill, and we're going to call it cool. And then somebody said, "No, that's a stupid idea."
No, it was that.
Move the hill out of there and let's go.
The story actually is the designer messed up. When they were making the dimensions of the ballpark, that flagpole was supposed to be behind the center field fence. But when the designer made like the actual design of the field, center field was supposed to be 420 feet.
Yeah.
When the stadium was built, center field was 435 feet. So the designer actually put the flagpole was supposed to be 425 feet away from home.
Yeah, they put the fence in the wrong spot.
Yeah, which would have been 5 feet behind the fence, but whoever actually built the stadium must have looked at the number wrong and made center field 10 feet further back than what it should be, which is why the flagpole is 10 feet in front of the fence.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. But it is what it is. But yeah, they got that fixed. It's still, I don't know if Stat guy, have you been to Houston? Have you been to that facility yet?
Not yet. I've been to the Astrodome, but not Minute Maid.
Gonzo, you ever made? Well, have you ever been to Texas, Gonzo?
I've been
Texas,
to
but it was a long time ago. I was young.
I've been to the
Oh,
San Antonio Mission Stadium. I've been to the Round Rock Express Stadium, and I've been to Frisco Stadium in Texas.
What's up?
I've been to no stadiums out west. I've been to Camden Yards in Baltimore. That's probably been one of my favorites I've been to. And then, of course, I've been to Chicago White Sox Stadium. I haven't been to the Wrigley Field yet. Been to Detroit. Been to Washington National Park.
You know, a lot of people don't understand the
Yeah,
reason
sure.
why, like, the Astros Minute Maid is designed the way that it is. But if you think about it, it's pretty freaking impressive. If you look at Houston, what Houston was, you know, Houston was an export-import town. They had the channel right there to bring all the goods in. They had the rail yard that was the first thing that ever came in to export-import out of there. So what they did was they took the old train station that was in Houston, which is like, I think it was built like in either the late 1800s or the early 1900s, and they made that part of the stadium. And then they incorporated history in with the stadium. So people are like, well, why is there a train that goes across, you know, every time they score a home run? Well, it's because Houston was founded with the railroad that went through the middle of downtown Houston, and they wanted to keep that history in the stadium. That's why I love Minute Maid so much, is because it's not just a stadium, it's a landmark. It's a landmark type stadium that has modern day features. Think about that. You got a retractable roof, you got all the modern amenities, but yet, then you also have part of the 1800s built into the stadium as well, and it's all on purpose. And it's if you've never been in the stadium, it's fucking gorgeous, man. It's just, especially when they open up the roof and you get the skyline. Oh man, it really is. It's a gorgeous stadium.
And Cincinnati has a nice ballpark as well, but that's one of my favorites.
Great American, yeah.
I've never been to Cincinnati. I do want to kind of go up north, Ohio. I want to go to Canton.
Yeah,
I'd say my favorite ballpark is Wrigley Field, just because of the history and everything that goes with it.
Yeah, I get that.
But the two close seconds for me are Oracle Park in San Francisco, because of the Pacific Ocean and just kind of the backdrop you get from that. And then PNC Park, which to me,
what about PNC?
That to me has like the best backdrop of any stadium in baseball, is the skyline and just how everything looks at PNC.
Yeah. Well, hell, man, when you got damn rivers coming all up around it, I mean, you know it's going to have an ambiance to it.
And Petco Park is also nice too.
They're just. I don't go to any stadium that's named after, you know, an animal supermarket.
Well, the animal supermarket donated $330 million of that stadium.
I don't care. If I can't get oranges there, or if I can't go see a scandalous Enron, I don't want no part of it.
I think the last award we have is MVP then.
Oh, geez, MVP. Damn. That's always a hard one for me.
I think it's going to come down to either Vlad Guerrero Jr. or Mike Trout in the AL.
Yeah, but you're basing it off of that Trout stays healthy, and I'm
not even basing it off of him staying healthy. Even if he goes,
you have that part of it based off him being healthy, because he's not healthy. How does he win the award?
If he plays 120 games next year and does what he typically does, he's going to be in the running for the MVP. He doesn't need to play 150 games. He only has to play 120, maybe 130 games, and if he does what he normally does, he will be in the running for the MVP.
He might be in the running, but he won't win it. I mean, you can be in the running all you want.
I had Trout as one runner, but I'm maybe a little surprised. I got Ramirez. He's been in top 6 5 of the last 6 seasons in MVP voting. I think this is going to be the year that he's going to break out and maybe get his MVP.
Yeah. For some reason, though, man, I see them giving it to Judge. I don't like Aaron Judge. I personally think he's overrated, but I do, man. I think Aaron Judge is overrated. I've seen how he can be beat, and when you can see how a person can be beat, then it just takes all the mystique out of it. I mean, I think Ohtani is going to be in the conversation. He's always in the damn conversation, even though I don't agree with it, but he's going to be in the conversation. Judge will be in the conversation. Guerrero, that would be interesting if he gets up in that mix. And like I said, if Trout can go a full season, then I think he has more than just a shot at being in the running. I think he's got a good shot at winning it.
Yeah.
Who you got in National League?
National League, I'm going to go with Juan Soto. Mainly,
Also, if I can, before we go National League, I do want to put Pena in there for American League MVP.
okay. I'm going Juan Soto for the National League mainly because once Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back, that's going to help Juan Soto out a lot.
Yeah.
You can see Soto. I had Acuna.
Acuna?
I think we see Acuna Jr. getting back.
I could even
getting back on.
I
track.
could even see I could even see Pete Alonso.
For the Met. Yeah, I could see that. I could see Pete Alonso. But I think, you know what, though? I still think it's Goldschmidt's. I still think it's Goldschmidt's award to lose, though, on the NL side of it.
Arenado was in the conversation for a while last year as well. He might be.
Hey, if I can though, if we can go back to AL side, what do you think? What do you think Alvarez's chances of getting into that conversation are?
I think it all depends on.
I think he had 37 home runs. He had a little over 300 batting average.
I think it all depends on the rest of that lineup, as in
right.
If Alex Bregman has a bounce back year, if Jose Abreu has a good year, if Jose Altuve has a good year, that's going to take a lot of the production away from Alvarez, just because those guys are going to be doing just as much damage as he typically does.
Yeah, I think him at that DH role or even that left field role, though, I still think he, regardless of however where the other guys do, if he goes out there.
Where was he hitting last year? Was he hitting fourth last year, or was he hitting third?
I believe he was hitting fourth.
Because if you look at if you look at the lineup projections that John Morosi put out yesterday, they have Alvarez hitting fifth right now.
They have Alvarez hitting fifth?
Yes, they have Abreu hitting fourth. They have Bregman hitting third, Altuve second, and Brantley leading off.
I don't like that. I think I would have put Alvarez. I would have put Bregman. If anything, I would have put Bregman at fifth. I probably would have had Abreu at 4 or had Abreu at 3 and Alvarez at 4. I love Breggy, man, but damn, sometimes he can be hot and sometimes he can be cold. But I do like his heart.
All right. Well, I gotta get ready to get out of here. I think Jay, didn't you say you had to get off a little early too because you had a meeting this morning?
Yeah, I got 9 minutes before I can get into this thing. We'll have to pick this back up tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll jump back on it tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. You got any final thoughts, Jay?
Yeah. If you hit the toilet bowl thing 2 times and the thing still doesn't go down, don't go for a third.
No.
Don't go for a third. Just call your plumber. Call your plumber and go have a chai latte while he goes in there and deals with what you left behind.
Was it the sewer? Was it the sewer main, or was it just your
man?
line?
I don't know what it was. Hey, look, this building's old as dirt, so it has terrible suction power.
Before I started having my health issues, that's what I did. I'm a plumber. That's why I was asking.
Well, bring your ass down here, man. Bring that crippled cane ass down here and let's go. I'll do all the work. You just be program manager.
Does Jay get the veterans discount if you head down there?
Shit. Hey, he better get a damn veterans discount. You seen him out of gray up in here? He needs to get something. Damn. At least nice beard coloring would be good, but for some reason the wife likes the gray. I don't like the gray, but she does. Something whatever. It makes you happy. God, what a time to be alive. Hey,
And then,
your dad did ask your favorite ballpark, so and I think Gonzo named his, and I know I did in Staga, so I guess we answered Gonzo's question.
Stat guy, you got any final thoughts?
No, not at the moment. I do not.
Jay,
I'm sorry. You got to change that. You cannot put. I forbid you from now on, Stat Guy, to have the letter D with a pink circle as your motive.
I don't even know how to change that. That's just my default.
You need to figure it out. Look, you need to figure it out. If you need to, I can loan you Gonzo's picture. I've been using it for years, but all I see when I see D
it should say edit,
is douchebag. I just want to call you. I want to change your name from Stat Guy to douchebag.
Yeah, it should say edit audio avatar when you get ready to get on, and you can.
I don't know. Does the letter D in a pink circle bother anybody else on this show? Put in the comments. If Dustin's pink letter D bothers you, please put it in the comments because it bothers me.
Okay. You gonna be on at 1, Jay?
Yeah, I'll be on at 1. I will be on at 1. All right, dudes. I got to get out of here. Y'all be good.
Yeah, you too. We'll see you at 1. We appreciate everybody joining us today. Thanks for Jay's Stat Guy for joining me. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern for another episode of Around the Bases. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, like and follow on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room and the All Sports All Plays Network. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. for another episode of Around the Bases. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Join us at 1 p.m. Eastern for
Don't forget to mention Royal Rumble this Saturday. Don't forget to mention that if you haven't already mentioned it.
All right. And this Saturday night, we're going to do a watch party and live reaction for the Royal Rumble 2023, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You can find out in Gonzo Sports Room Network, the ASAP All Sports All Plays Network, and the Unscripted channels as well. So join us for that. Join us for that Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great day.